Is it a problem if there was a 10-year-old Mexican kid that was a huge fan of Martin Luther King and he went blackface? Is it his fault because he is not understanding how blackface works, or is it the parents' fault?
The kid comes to mom and dad and it's like, I want to go dress as Martin Luther King.
All right, mom, I'm heading out. All right, baby. I was just seeing the back of his head in the suit and running out.
Oh, so you don't check your kids out before they leave the house?
he kissed her.
Anyway.
He kissed her.
You just let your kid, you didn't check to see if they had any sleep in their eye, brush their teeth, when you slobber down their face. 10-year-old kid?
It's COVID, so he had a mask on. He just thought he had like some ninja eyes on.
Oh, Lord.
He thought he was a raccoon. And they call you home. Hey, your son has done something ungodly.
He was trying to be MLK.
Oh, he did an amazing job. He killed the speech, by the way. What's the problem? He looked like you remember when on Mrs. Doubtfire when he stuck his face into the chocolate cake and came up and said, "Woo woo!" What up, y'all?
What up?
We are back for another fantastic episode of Random Ass Conversations with Twilla and
Dion.
Parentheses, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally _ Dion Lack.
Wow, whole new name. PEMDAS over here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first one that's dropping in Black History Month.
Oh.
So you gotta say Assalamu Alaikum.
With the fist up?
And power to the people.
I think that's almost racist. You assume that everybody that says Assalamu Alaikum
wow.
Fist up?
Nope.
Assalamu Alaikum?
Yeah.
That's what I said the first time.
That's not what you said.
You're just not listening because you're typing. Assalamu Alaikum, sisters and brothers out there. Grand risings. All the way from the Himalayas of Lemert Park.
Assalamu Alaikum is a normal Islamic greeting. So I don't assume that everybody who say it throw the fist up because you have Islamic people from all colors and cultures.
So when you put your fist up, what does that mean?
That's just letting you know what branch of the power to the people group I'm speaking to.
What does this mean?
United. Stand strong, brother.
Stand strong? So white people can't do this?
I feel like union workers do that. Like I've seen, like during strikes and stuff, different color fist.
Yeah.
But it's something about the black fist shows the black power. We just do this to each other all month long.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's only 28 days. It ain't that many.
Yeah. All right. Fists. Okay.
Yeah. Black power, black power. I was on the Instagrams and the Instawebs yesterday as Black History Month kicked off. Tuesday, whatever, February 1st was. As it kicked off, and I felt like we were really celebrating this as a holiday. People are like, man, I forgot. I saw one that was like, I forgot to leave Harriet Tubman cookies.
As in like you Christmas?
Yes.
That's funny. That's funny.
Like, this is our holiday. Y'all are hilarious.
That's funny.
Yeah, man.
Are you now listen to me before
Here we go.
Listen to me before you hear the full question. Are you pro-black? Like at work trying to be informative to your coworkers, or will you keep it discreet and it's kind of like, yeah, ask questions, I'll answer?
I'm not coming to work.
Because you work with a lot of white people.
Yes.
So are you that person that's kind of like, hey, happy Black History Month, y'all?
You know what was interesting?
What? They're saying it to you?
They said it, well, and it's not, so it was like, hey, Tuesday is the start of Black History Month. Oh yeah, what are we going to do to celebrate? And then you come to the Twilla, what are we going to do to celebrate?
Oh boy.
It's like, I don't know. Treat me right.
You got to.
I wasn't ready.
Have a plan.
I was not ready for that question.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I could spill some Black history facts. We could watch Black movies. Like, there's so many different ways that we could celebrate. I could tell you about my ancestors. Y'all can pay my rent.
Yeah.
Reparations can happen. There's so
Yeah.
many ways we could celebrate this thing. It was kind of funny. Like, I didn't feel like, in that moment with that group of people, I didn't feel like I was being singled out as the Black person, primarily because in that like same conversation, we talked about Chinese New Year's being like also on February 1st, and a couple of my coworkers are Asian, so they celebrate Lunar New Year's, and so we were like, so what are the customs? And so it was like that same breath. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like some performative, what should we do to show that we woke?
I mean, they had to ask that.
Yeah.
Versus having a plan without including.
They'd be like, and we're gonna come dressed up like MLK and Harriet Tubman. And
Would you stop your boss? Like, all right, listen.
I sure would. I was like, no.
Before great ideas, before we move forward.
I don't think that's what y'all really want to do. It's not going to turn out like what you think.
Because the show will be canceled.
Yes.
Could the show get canceled from the production versus the actors?
For sure, like, because it's just...
No.
Well, no, you could just hire a new crew.
Right,
Yeah, you
right.
could hire a new crew.
Right.
It might get pushed back.
Yeah, because of the moving parts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, nah. We ain't that important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is it a problem if there was a 10-year-old Mexican kid that was a huge fan of Martin Luther King and he went blackface? Like, is it his fault because he is not understanding how blackface works, or is it the parents' fault?
The parents, 100. Like the kid comes to mom and dad and it's like, I want to go dress as Martin Luther King.
He don't even come to him. He just excited and walks out and, runs up on the bus. All right, mom, I'm heading out. All right, baby. I just see in the back of his head in the suit running out.
Oh, so you don't check your kids out before they leave the house?
he kissed her.
Anyway.
He kissed her.
You just let your kid. You didn't check to see if they had any sleep in their eye, brush their teeth, let you slobber down their face. 10-year-old kid.
It's COVID, so he had a mask on. So he just thought he had like some ninja eyes on.
Oh Lord!
He thought he was a raccoon.
You're like, no, he learned the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Yeah. And they call you home. Hey,
somehow it's still the parents' fault.
Alejandra, Maria, your son has done something ungodly.
He was trying to be MLK.
Oh, he did an amazing job. He killed the speech, by the way. What's the problem? He looked like you remember when on Mrs. Doubtfire when he stuck his face into the chocolate cake and came up and said woo woo.
I think that's a tough call. It's like, I appreciate your enthusiasm about the great Martin Luther King Jr. However, kid, it comes a time that you must learn a lesson that everyone has to learn.
But is he in trouble? Who's in trouble? Is it the parents? Like, what is the punishment?
I actually think like 10. That's like 5th grade. That's almost a little. That's 4th, 5th grade, whatever. That's a little too young to be like, now you're in trouble. But you definitely have to teach a lesson. Like, now we're gonna understand why this isn't not the right thing to do. Like, right?
It's like, well, my skin color is not of that hue, so
right.
I had to color it.
Well, a long time ago, we learned what Martin Luther King stood for about inequality and how, like he wanted everyone to be treated equal. But before that time, there was a time where white people would dress up as black people and put what they call blackface on, paint their face black, very similar to what you did, and they were making fun of black people and saying this is what black people do. So it came from a very harmful place.
But we moved past that because Martin Luther King said, "I had a dream that people and black people, we supposed to be free at last." Harmful. You're still locked up in bondage, sister. I'm trying to let you know that we are free.
I'm not woke. And I'd be like, but you're burying the hurt of so many people. Just because we're trying to move past it, we have to acknowledge the hurt and the pain of the past.
Wow, sister, you are so lost. Like smoke said.
All right, now you suspended. Go home. But in real talk, this is a topic that's kind of sticky. Mm-hmm. Whoopi Goldberg this week was suspended from 2 weeks from The View because of wrong statements. They were very wrong statements, inaccurate about the Holocaust. So during that segment, her take, or what she stated, she said the Holocaust was not based on race.
I don't see a problem with that. Please explain to me why is it a problem?
Well, because the entire Holocaust was based on race. Like, Nazis believed in a superior what's it called? Superiority?
Supremacy?
Yeah, white supremacy. They believed in the true Aryan nation, and that these people, were pure-blooded white people.
The problem is she was using it as a religion versus the race.
Right.
That's where it got mixed up.
Right.
Even though it's the same thing, but it's not the same thing.
So from that, Whoopi was corrected. Like, she was wrong. She was corrected. She stated on Twitter, and then again in another apology, that she was wrong. She was like, I stand corrected. I was completely wrong, and I would never, willfully hurt a group of people that have been, pretty much oppressed. And people were calling for her to be fired, but ABC decided to suspend her, even though she acknowledged that she was wrong. So the question is, should Whoopi have been suspended for making inaccurate statements? I'm going to tell you where I came from with this. Because when I was like, well, she was wrong, but it wasn't like she was being hateful. But at the same time, I just took, we had respect training at work, which is pretty much like harassment and equality, treating people fairly. And one of the big things that they say at work is not the intent, it's the impact. Mm-hmm. So you could not intend to be harmful, but what you said was harmful. Mm-hmm. And so they have to go based on that.
Right.
So based on that, Whoopi made harmful statements. Her impact was harmful, not her intent.
Right. And then the backlash, and then it got too loud. And then you can't just allow that to happen as a network. You have to make some sort of action.
Right.
Even though they know that Whoopi Goldberg carries that show, they had to punish her somehow without saying, all right, we're going to fine her. Because, people are going to say, you got to be kidding me. You understand how harmful and hurtful that was what she said? My grandfather's still alive who dealt with that.
Right.
Like, you have to say something as a network. You have to do something.
Yeah. Especially in this time and era, I feel like part of it though was we find people that say stuff like, all black men are rapists. That's not only wrong, that's just ignorant and hurtful and a stereotype, right? So it's like, what's the difference? People are like, that statement that's made there wasn't as egregious as what Whoopi said, which was just wrong.
Right.
Not factual. It was not stated in facts. But it's like one was an opinion and one was just a wrong idea, and that she could be taught.
So I'm breaking it down. Mm-hmm. Like, if you hear the whole thing, she was using it wrong and right. So when I'm saying as in like, it's like saying the Holocaust wasn't about Christianity. When you hear it, like it wasn't about race. She's saying it like that. It wasn't about their religion. Like she was like Jewish people. She started off by saying Jewish as in their religion. And
so she spent all 65 of these years on Earth thinking that it was about a religion versus race.
So with all that being said, when she was wrong, she's like, I wasn't there, but I can imagine her saying, I can see how they got that. But instead of explaining that, they're not trying to hear me explain this. So let me just go ahead and apologize entirely, because it's nothing like being wrong, hearing how you sound wrong, and it's like, damn it, I can't even fix that. So let me just go ahead and clear the air. This is not going to sound great if I try to explain that, because this is a very touchy, hurtful topic.
Right.
And then the network was like, I hear you. This is what I'm assuming. They was like, I hear you. I hear your explanation. The best thing for the company, the best thing for you is just apologize. And me thinking about Whoopi Goldberg getting suspended. She has to be, what, 70?
65, I think.
65-year-old woman getting suspended. I can't imagine having that degrading feeling of like, I'm a grandparent. I carry this show. I'm the highest paid person on this show. You're going to suspend me? And then that thank you boss coming back. What happened a few weeks ago was hurtful. I'm sorry. And I've learned my lesson. And now she's walking on eggshells for the rest of the shows.
I mean, the same thing is happening throughout cancel culture, right? Like, you have people who are losing jobs or getting fired who are also grandparents. You know, like, so it's just kind of like it's the nature of the beast. I feel like the way she graciously came up with an apology, the way she took it, didn't fight it. Like, if she do I think she'll come back? Maybe she'll treat it like a vacation. Maybe she'll do some studies and you'd be
she
like,
might get her own show.
Get her own, whatever it is. Like, I feel like she could take this moment and I think come back, because it wasn't an old tweet that just resurfaced or something like that and proved that, like, this is how she's been. Like, this is a behavioral pattern.
There's a company right now, some sort of network is watching her, was like, yo, this is our time to dive in and get her. Hey, Whoopi Goldberg, we had a show we had planned for you, a late night talk show, or we can do daytime. We can kind of like same time. We can be the rivalry of The View. We can call it Higher Views.
Or Spotify is like, well, we got Joe Rogan and now we have Whoopi.
Right. Yeah.
Oh man, crazy times.
Crazy. If this is what it feels like. Like, imagine something that you are totally confident and people know you for this particular show. You're the lead of this particular show. Mm-hmm. And then somebody like you killed this verse and it was like, no, go back in the booth, rewrite it. I can just re-record it. No, rewrite it. Take some time off. It's like, but this is a remix. Like, I want a Grammy for the original. No. Stop it. I know you got vocals, but that right there, that ain't it. Can I explain? No, don't even explain it. Apologize.
I'm sorry, I did my best.
It just feels very degrading.
Yeah, I get it. In random news.
Okay.
Rihanna and A$AP Rocky.
It's not random.
Are about to have a A$AP Riri.
A$AP Riri. I like Rira.
What's the Ra? Like Rocky?
Yep.
So just the first part of his name.
Rira.
What about
Rari?
Rari? I like ASAP Riri for the little baby.
Well, I don't want them. I don't want that to get mixed up with the other ASAPs.
Well, it's a whole game.
We be forgetting that ASAP means as soon as possible. So when you hear ASAP, what's the biggest ASAP you know? What's the ASAPs you know?
Rocky, Ferg, who was it?
That's it.
P on the. Who was it?
You don't know.
Something on the. Is it on the boards? I can't remember.
I think it's P on the boards. And then one of them died. Yeah, ASAP Yam. Mm-hmm. But if you hear ASAP, you're gonna think about either As Soon as Possible or Rocky.
Mm-hmm. Or Ferg.
I mean, nobody's not.
Nobody thinks about
Ferg? Sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
I love how I'm glad that Rihanna, they announced their pregnancy. She still hasn't said, I got a baby on the way. The most she said was she posted something on her IG with her profile pic of the belly and said how me and the gang are pulling up during Black History Month. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if she means we full.
Yeah. And is she having twins? We don't know.
Or she just 8 months. Because the first time it was speculated, not first time because people always speculate the girl's pregnant, but a few months ago when she was being honored at the Barbadian National Hero thing a couple of months ago, and it looked like she was showing there.
I'm about to look it up.
And
Keep
she
talking.
denied it. But if you have seen her fashion for the past 2 months, mm-hmm. maybe 3 months, everything has been oversized and huge. And it got to a point where I was just like, is this cute? Are you just throwing on ASAP's clothes and walking out the door? What is happening? And I was like, maybe this is fashion beyond what I understand and comprehend. And the fashion blogs would be like, Rihanna was spotted leaving ASAP Ferg's place in whatever that's oversized and huge. I'm like, did she forget to pack her clothes? She's just wearing his and then putting some heels on?
Hey man, when you making money,
you don't have to care.
No, it doesn't matter. We were talking about this on another podcast, but when you are billionaire status,
mm-hmm. Which she is, go ahead, black girl.
You can literally wear anything.
Which she do.
Pay less. Walmart clothing. People be like, I have Skechers on. You know what I'm working with.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build up a black business. When you making that much money, you can literally be like, hey, Lacktoast, I am about to start endorsing your clothes. Just want 3% stake.
Cool.
And they would start wearing your outfits.
Yeah. But the thing is, Balenciaga, right? Name brand. Huge designer luxe brand. They be putting out some stuff. I'd be like, mm-hmm. You pay how much for this? Mm-hmm. $2,500 for that T-shirt.
Goddamn right. What else she got? That's what it's like. Yeah.
That's what they are.
Mm-hmm. What else she got? So you talking about those? $155 for these socks.
I'm like, y'all, that is trash. It literally looked like you went to the trash. Now you're just playing people. I saw this one thing that looked like the mold of a foot, and I was like,
what was it, a shoe?
Yes. I was like, what is happening in life and why? Does
it come with the smell?
That's what makes it designer. I'm like, people are paying, people are going broke for fashion. And to be like, it's a statement, it's fashion. I'm like, it's
well, if clothes are becoming oversaturated, as in you can get 10 T-shirts mm-hmm. for $10.
And everybody has their own brand.
Everybody has their own brand. You gotta switch things up. So it's now the shirt is so peculiar that it becomes, oh, this is different. Mm-hmm. Now it's turning heads. So imagine, I'm sure it is. Just imagine if the shirt started from here up on a girl's breast and went down this direction. Half the stomach is showing, but it's a T-shirt, normal from upside, and it's oh, that's different.
Yeah.
They have to switch it. They got little holes in it.
Maybe it's just like the designers are uninspired. That's what I take from that. Mm-hmm. They're like, shirts have been shirted before. So what's a way that I can shirt the unshirt but make it a shirt?
Come on. I seen a shirt with tiny collar holes all over. Like you know how you see the collar
like a t-shirt or like
a t-shirt. It was like holes everywhere. It was like just kind of a whole bunch of. Yep.
Are we bored? That's what's happening nowadays?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it. Because I know, like, I just had to stop following some stuff. I was like, this is not. My mom would be like, are you just peeing in my face and telling me it's raining at this point?
I had to stop following some people. Because they wasn't good for my diet.
Like what type?
And I just found out that you can mute people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm good for that.
I did not know that. All this time I've been unfollowing people, I could have just muted them.
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't this page. It's just a bunch of like what type of people are you unfollowing?
Women. Lustful women. That I got to the point of like, oh, this is a problem. I'm scrolling down memory lane. Oh, you are blossoming, young lady. Okay, I gotta get off of this page. I am in July.
Oh no, that sounds kind of.
Ooh.
I'm not gonna say it sounds kind of creepy. It sounds kind of creepy.
Yeah, it's very creepy. That's why I gotta unfollow you.
I think like I go through and just like I feel like this page isn't adding information, entertainment, like visual stimulation. Like I follow a lot of like art pages and stuff like that, or decor and home pages. If there's something I'm interested in at the time,
mm-hmm.
like like I think there was a period of time where I was like really into like vegan recipes. Like I would follow vegan pages, but then after I'm like, that's not a interest of mine anymore. I just like, yeah.
You muted or unfollow?
I unfollow those. I don't. Why do I need to follow hundreds of people? Or it might be somebody who runs a brand, and I might be interested in like, oh, what is their life like? But a lot of times, it's just their private life, and so I'll be like, I'm not really interested in your life like that. I like your brand. So I'll continue to follow your brand, but me just following you, I kind of feel like a stalker. So, like why am I looking into your life? I don't know you.
Right. I started to do something weird. As in, I have 3 pages that I run, and I purposely try not to follow the same people on all 3 platforms because I feel like I'm going to see it 3 different times.
Yeah.
So I try to keep all the people that I'm following on brand. Like I keep the people that I follow is either comedians or motivational speakers. And then the Lacktoast page, I tend to try to follow people that actually we work with or supports us or other businesses. And then with the LT Studios is either photographers, videographers, models, makeup artists, stuff like that. So I can kind of stay in the same brand.
Yeah,
but it takes a lot to unfollow people.
Yeah, and then sometimes people don't post, but like once in a blue moon, I think somebody I follow, I was like, oh, let me unfollow you.
Yeah, because you ain't talking about that. You wasting my numbers.
Yeah.
The problem is, what's upsetting is I have more posts than followers. It's like, I don't know if I need to delete or get my numbers up.
Get your numbers up.
Look at it again. Yeah,
you're gonna get sad. Speaking of
today is 2222.
Happy birthday, Mom.
You know what I'm saying? I had to point that out. 2222. We got this one more time. In his whole life, we're going to do 2/22/22. That's the last time in order we ever going to get this in our lifetime.
We'll get a 3.
No, we're not.
No, we won't get a 33.
You better not.
33?
You
Like
better not.
33? Oh. Wait, that's 10 years from now. 11 years.
It's not that bad.
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's not that bad. I thought we're going to be dead as hell, but no. I was thinking of 3033. Yeah, it's not bad. I was loud and wrong.
In the 444.
We might can make it to 666. I think the last one we can possibly do is the 9s. Let me see. How old is that? That's not.
It'd be old
Oh
AF.
no. What's the last one you think we can possibly get without it being an issue of age?
This sounds so morbid to say, but around the 7777.
Yeah,
that's pushing
yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm. Could we be 90? Wow. People gonna be like, man, Dad, Grandpa, what was the 90s like? 1990? Man, that's crazy. Because when you think about 1829, what do you think about? I mean, 1822. What do you think about? What is the picture you picture?
1822. My people were still slaves.
Your people.
On my mom's side, not my dad's side. My dad's side was free and a win.
Mm-hmm.
I think slavery, it was not good for black people in the States around that time. I think.
No, I'm just talking about the picturing, as in what do you see?
I
color.
see,
If you had to set design 822.
I see fields.
Mm-hmm.
I see normal size houses. These full cities aren't around. There's no cars.
100 years, man. That's crazy. A lot of horses.
1922 though. It would have been 100 years ago.
I said that, didn't I?
You said 1822.
Wow, that was almost 200 years ago. Man, I am tripping. 1922.
1922.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
They were over there. Harlem, the Renaissance.
The Renaissance.
We over there doing what's it called? The Cotton Club.
Mm-hmm.
We just came out of what's those old Model T type cars?
Yep. The one with the wheels on the outside and the box cars and the little courage on top, right? And the doors open up like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. The black and white pictures.
Mm-hmm. 1922, man. I can't believe I did 200 years with confidence.
But I was right there flowing with you.
Yeah, you did that.
I did that.
Yeah, man. It's scary when you get to that we about to be a half a century. It's like, man, this is happening. It slowly happens. Then you start to kind of think about your parents. Mm-hmm. Be like, man, y'all lived this life already, man. You think about the grandparents. It's like, man, we saw them for a small period of time. But it's like, no, but they had so much more life that they lived before we saw them.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy. That's why I opened up to my kids today about just who I am, what I do, what I have done, what I've accomplished. It's like, 'cause this is the things they need to hear. Yeah. I can't hold back.
How did they receive that?
It was shocking for the most part. It was just who Dad was in high school.
I'm sorry, girls.
Just know that when you see me, on TV or on the internet, I'm a character. They never hear me cuss. Mm-hmm. They never hear me talk vulgar or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I just know it's a character.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, and I explained it to them. And I played the music. They were shocked.
The song y'all have coming out?
Yep.
Okay.
So woo!
That's cool, Dion.
Yeah, man. So that's just cool. You don't want that No, my dad would never. So it's not like a complete 180. It was just like, he told us this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
When you were saying almost 50 or almost half a century.
Right.
Yesterday I learned that, so when we talk about like respect, like I said, we had a respect training.
What you want?
With respect, it deals with people of protected classes, which are like race, gender, sexual orientation, age included. And then the question was like, at what point is age a protected class?
Age?
What age are you a protected class?
What does that mean?
That you know, basically can feel like discriminated against. Like you cannot discriminate against somebody for age at this particular number.
Oh. As in applying for jobs?
Mm-hmm.
For what job?
Any
job? As in you're too old?
Yeah, like what? Not as you're too old. Like somebody can't. Yeah, so basically somebody can't not hire you. They can because they think you're too old.
I'm sure each job is different. You can't.
It's a rule. It's a federal rule.
Man, I can't be in the NBA right now. Like starting off.
If you meet all the requirements.
The gymnastics.
Just answer my question, daggone
It's
it.
different for each group.
A normal job, Dion.
Like McDonald's, there's no limit. I've seen 90-year-olds there.
Right, but at one point, oh my God, this conversation should not be this hard. At the age of 40 is where they start saying you're a protected class. Like people cannot discriminate against you, like calling you old or you're too old for this job. And that was a rule that was established in 1960. Because back then,
they weren't young.
That was considered, and 40 was considered old. Like you had all your kids, you did your life, and they'd be like, "Oh, she's old." But now, like 40 is the new 50, dang near 60 type thing.
Yeah. So you're saying we're here.
I'm saying you're there. You're closer than I am.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I definitely had that moment. I was like, "Oh."
Yeah. I feel like this. I feel like financially, we always feel like you get to a point. You always like, am I where I'm supposed to be at this age? It's so.
My answer for me is no.
Man, it's not. It's so revealing because you set goals. You assume at the age of 20, by the time I'm 40, I can be able to retire in my.
I'm gonna make it.
Square foot. 100,000.
I was like 100 square foot. Aim higher.
Yeah, I have 100 square foot mansion. It goes straight up.
It's a box. It's a 10 by 10 box. But
What is the smallest mansion? That's a great question.
Yeah.
The smallest, like we just made it. It could have been a house.
It's like, isn't a mansion like? Let me not lie. I was gonna say 5,000, but no. And then like, can you have a mansion with no land? Like it took up the whole.
It's right on the sidewalk. That's what I want right there. I'm about to be groundbreaking. I'm gonna have the bare minimum mansion. I need to know the square feet of the bare minimum mansion. They're like, yo, this is a house. Like, dude, I went.
Is usually at least 5,000 square feet.
I want 4,998 square feet of land, and it's going to be right on the sidewalk. No grass, no backyard, no garage.
Why?
They're gonna be like, yo, this is a house, bro. Like, this is a mansion. Look it up. Look it up.
It's not 5,000. You're 1 foot short.
Not just
1 square foot short.
And then I'll ask my neighbor, hey, can I get? let me get 3 square feet.
Man, there's no space between my house and your house.
Just see a little part of the sidewalk. Can I just Cut that part off your sidewalk.
I need a
bring it over
mansion.
here.
I need a mansion.
Can you uplift this bush right here that I can kind of make this part of my property?
Oh my God, Dion, your goals, man.
My goals, man. Like people are like, yo, I kind of think this is a house, man. This is a mansion. Look it up.
And
this is the bare minimum.
That same thing said, but usually 8,000. A quality one
Usually,
is 8,000.
nah, man. I gotta look 5,000.
Yeah,
it's not that bad. That's probably 40 units, right? That's a mansion. And I want my mansion to go straight up, like because typically square feet is that per level as well? Because if this right here was stacked 4 times, is that considered a mansion?
No.
Well, it's 14, 28.
I feel like, and it's been a long time. That we've discussed this, but I thought it was like it had nothing to do with the height. It was the.
But you said square feet.
Yeah.
Square feet is actually
length times width.
Where you can walk. Where you can walk.
Times width, right?
Where you can walk in that particular location. You don't discredit the upper levels because it's not on the bottom level.
If you live in a property that's perfectly rectangle, simply measure the length times width. If you live in a 1-story house that is 60 feet by 40 feet long, your property is 2,500 square feet. Still reading.
See, that's it right there. She said one level though.
Yeah, that's what I said. It might be.
So when you start stacking, you gotta add another level.
You're right. You
gotta start adding it up.
Yeah. So yeah, it is the. It's the usable space. Mm-hmm. You can't count, like some places don't let you count basements or garages. Basements are excluded because they're built below grade, meaning below ground level. Finished attic spaces with some regulations can count towards it. So,
you know what I'm saying?
Corrected. I stand.
You know what I'm saying?
Corrected.
Stack up. If I stack up all these units on top of each other, 14, 28. Is that 42?
It'll be 56.
Let's see.
Total.
56, yeah.
5,600
5,600 square feet.
Is that right? 28 times 28? 56.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
50.
Yep.
5,600 square feet. That's a mansion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Holla at your boy.
Okay. Something I came across.
What you come across?
There's no smooth transition. I was just thinking about it.
Okay.
There was a post. This hiring manager posted something that was like, she was like, I hired somebody who requested for their salary $85,000, but I had budgeted $113,000. I gave them the $85,000 because I'm not about to teach anybody how to negotiate their salary. And so people online were like, and it was a black woman. So people online was like, what type of weird flex is that? Because that wasn't even like your money. That's not money going to your pocket.
Right.
And okay, but for somebody who doesn't know their worth or what the business is bringing, like that was kind of a mean-spirited thing to do, where you could say, well, with our company, we actually offer more, that type of thing. And especially, and I felt it because I was like, and especially women and people of color, we don't necessarily negotiate like our value on jobs, and where other people will negotiate the mess out of it. Like they'd be like, I think I want 200,000. And then that opens the conversation for like, this is what we have, and then they add to that. So another person had posted, you know, like I recently hired somebody who undervalued how much they should make, and I told them like, in the future, like what we're offering, like this is what we're offering, and in the future, just always remember like your worth, and don't be afraid to negotiate or ask, well, what is it that you budgeted for this position? And so it's just like two different types of people.
3 things. So whoever is in charge of the money had $100,000 for the hired person, said hired person, right? They said 85, and she thought it was a good idea to keep that money. Where's that money going? It's not going to her, right? It's not. Yeah, right. So it's not her money. But then that was my first question. Second question is, why did she feel the need to talk about it? Yeah, is that who's excited about this?
Like, I feel like she thought it was like a lesson, like, so
like, it's really a black film.
Like, always negotiate your worth because you leaving money on the table. But that's like some bully way of saying, because like you really, in the long run of it, it was a 85 where they had budgeted 113. So in the long run, you're taking somebody's quality of life just because they didn't know. Like, this could be their first go around at something like this. So it's like, now you're taking almost, was it 30,000 away from them just because you can. 30,000 a year. That's a difference. That's it could be a house payment, student loans, whatever. You don't know if they have kids, like all these different things that you just took away from them, and then bragged about it on some weird flex. Like,
and she posted it like the person ain't gonna find, like, yo, is this you going viral? Oh, wait, is that me?
Right.
Is this the money that you keeping me from me?
Right.
Wait, give me my money then. And now the company is like, you mother.
Yeah. Shout out to the companies though. Like, there's actual companies that's like hiring. Like, if this is your job position, you're all getting paid this. Like, if you're all like a
starting off.
Yeah, like it's like you're all doing the same job. If everybody's like, for example, if you come in as a tech specialist, I'm just making that title up. You get the job for tech specialist, regardless of your credentials. You're doing the same work. You're gonna get paid the same amount of money because we're all doing the same job.
I'll tell you this much: I better not be getting paid the same much if I've been there for 7 years.
But if you've been there for 7 years and you haven't like been promoted, like if you've been promoted, then you're making what your promoted job is making. But I think it's called like equitable salary or something like that, because it's trying to eradicate that whole thing of like how much less women and people of color make in a position. So, and there is like some negotiation for salary and stuff like, but it's like in the $3,000 range or something like that. It's not $5,000 range.
How would you feel if you were getting paid $5,000 less a week at your job? Would you try to negotiate, or would you be like, you guys got me?
A week? Oh, I'm negotiating.
But how do you know?
Well, that's the thing, and that's true, because a lot of times people don't talk about these things. And there's companies that's actually trying to have transparency, which is healthy, versus... Is
it too late?
After you have the job?
Like, if you found out, like, how much you getting paid? It's like, no. When I did this job, and I didn't know what I was doing at Netflix, I was getting paid this. Would you be like, hey, boss?
Yes.
Or would you be like,
yes.
But you've been working here for...
Doesn't matter. I'm doing the same job as this person. If that's what you put on the table, that's what you're paying me, and more, because I had to find out about it this way.
If they was like, yeah, that is the granddaughter of the guy who created Netflix.
I don't care. Her name's Serranos or whatever, Sardonos, whatever his name is. I don't care.
that's why she got paid that. So could you?
That's actually illegal. And why are you telling me that? It's just like, yeah, I think, I don't know. Like, I think, and a lot of times, especially as people of color, we just gotta kind of almost look at like a lot of these jobs that we're taking now in these tech spaces and corporate spaces weren't open to us even like 30, 40 years ago. Mm-hmm. And more of us are going through those doors, and more of us are getting like $100K plus salaries. So you don't necessarily to just be like, oh, I'm making 6 figures now, this is great. But to be like, but you actually cheated yourself. You could be making double that, like, because somebody didn't tell you. Like, you kind of have to look out for people in those spaces. And so shout out to those mentors and those people who are open with their salaries, especially other women who are willing to say, this is what I'm getting paid. So make sure you can go and negotiate yours on that.
Yeah, I need to look up a lot more stuff, my own things.
Yeah, man.
Because I've been going by the same rates for a couple years now. I think I need to start increasing my rates.
And people get mad.
Yeah.
They drop off for a little bit, but then it's like, do you recognize my talent?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I know what I bring to the table.
Come on.
And if you know, like if you're seeking out my services, you also know what I bring to the table.
Come on.
So pay me. Like, pay me my worth, because
you'll be back.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't recognize, for small business owners like ourselves, is that there is no other job, this is the job. So this is the rate that I charge, because this is also my living. Like, people don't recognize that. They're like, ooh, can you do this for half that?
Yeah, and if I do, there's a slight chance I'm going to have to pay for this rent myself. So I'd rather you pay the rent.
That's just how it goes.
With that being said, it is time to wrap this thing up like a broken arm being ran and evacuated inside of the ER. I don't know if saying evacuated, but submitted. What's the word? I'm exhausted. Being registered.
Transferred, fixed.
No.
Sent to the ER.
But I was trying to figure out a more fancier word, as in, like, hey, you are about to get fixed. It's time to wrap this thing up like a broken arm being operated on. Not operated.
You can say operated.
It's not
corrected.
Operated. As in being wrapped up, as in it's already done. And yeah, whatever. Twilla's gonna let me sit there and stew.
I am.
Twilla, you are not a co-star. You just sit there and just say,
because I don't know what you're trying to say.
You could have been spitballing. She just said,
I offered you words and you were like, nope, not that. I don't know what else you want from me.
Help!
I'm just
me!
The best me I can be. I can only be me.
They did get domestic violence next door. They was like, oh boy. He just said, help me. She just struck him with an urn.
Deserved it.
All right, y'all. You know, two names that is random. 2 names that I laugh at all the time because it's actually verbs. Ernest and Kurt. Is it? I hate to be Kurt.
Kurt, yeah. I thought you were gonna say curtains.
My homeway curtains.
I was like, who is named Curtains?
And there's another one that's a name.
There's a rapper named Curtains. Tyrese had a brother named Curtains. It's a stage name. Yeah.
There's another name that I laugh at. It's like Ernest, Kurt. Frank. There it is. It's Kurt, right?
Yeah.
I hate to be Kurt.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I hate to be curt too, but to be earnest.
Yeah, let's hear all three in a sentence. Kurt, Ernest, and Frank. Let's hear those three in a sentence.
Kurt, Ernest, and Frank. All right. I always want to put the LY at the end of Frank, so it's hard.
You can do it. Why not?
All right. To be earnest.
How about the names and the verbs?
I'm already jacked up. Kurt, Ernest, and Frank. This sounds like a joke. Kurt, Ernest, and Frank went to a bar. I got nothing.
I'm about to try to use it.
Okay.
All right. Kurt, Ernest, and Frank in a sentence with Kurt, Ernest, and Frank. Frankly, when Ernest was Kurt to Frank, he was very frank with his earnest response to Kurt.
You did it. You did it.
Right?
Uh-huh. Because Kurt, Ernest, and Frank are Kurt, Ernest, and Frank.
Hey,
I did it too.
You worked.
I did it.
You worked. You just sound like somebody had a speech impediment. All right, y'all. You guys have been fantastic.
As always.
We'd like to give a shout out to our sponsorships. Andreas Angelaskas. It is an alcohol beverage from the Caucasus Mountains of... Don't laugh at the sponsors, please.
Sorry.
With the great blend of cherries and raspberries into the refreshing taste inside the classic mix of mountain water.
And that's Andreas
Pantois.
Is that what you said at first?
I was going by the Greek. What's the name, Twiz, for our sponsors?
Andreas Pachowski. Delicious.
So make sure you guys pick up one of those bottles of Andreas Rentrowski. Use our promo code
7225
random RAC
25
at Andreas Kompowski and pick you up a couple bottles and ask for
Frank.
Thank y'all. Shout out to the sponsors.